Hey, what's going on, good people? This your boy James Harris, man, founder of Men to Heal, author of Man Just Express Yourself. Go and get that Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Target, and of course my website www.mentoheal.com. Hey, today, man, I want to talk about why men don't open up. You know, normally when you see this, it's conducted by women or different people in different settings, but this right here is real information. So I took the opportunity to survey over 2,000 people with the power of social media. Of course, we can do that. Just hit the button, blast it out. So these guys were from all over the country. So out of the 2,000 responses, I was able to gather up 1,876 replies. So this should be good information. Pretty much, I'm gonna drop down to the top 5 reasons, but I probably throw a bonus one in there as well. So these men consist of black, white, Asian, Hispanic. I was just fortunate enough to get that amount of replies from these guys. So, why men don't open up is like a touchy topic because, of course, society, culture, people, education, the media, all these things teach us in the world that we have a specific role to play within it. So unfortunately for men, they tend to use these influences to teach them to ignore their emotions or deny the way they feel within themselves, just based on those perceptions of others. And then at the end of the day, this manifests itself to be hard for them to express their ability to cope with stress, to connect with others and stuff like that. So before I get into it, man, just make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. It might be able to help your brother, your uncle, your father, your husband, anybody like that. So before I move forward, though, I got a quick question that was posted or sent to me by Kelly CC21. That's her screen name. So I watched a video on the previous video, Men in Depression, and it was very informative. I told my brother to check it out. But my question is, does deep breathing help reduce stress? Hey, so Kelly, appreciate you for reaching out. Thank you for your question. But I would definitely say deep breathing and mindfulness exercises assist with reducing stress. It's also a deep breathing video on my YouTube, so definitely feel free to scroll that, check it out. It is beneficial because honestly, a lot of people don't know how to breathe. They don't know how to relax. They don't know how to control that breath. So check out that video. Let me know what you think. Thanks, Kelly, for reaching out, submitting your questions. If you want me to read your question, definitely submit it to my inbox or on the YouTube channel, or you can email me. All that can be found on my website, www.mentoheal.com. So let's get into it, man. Number 5, they think it's pointless to open up. Depending on the man, depending on the male, depending on how he was raised. Why is it a waste of time? Why do they feel that it's a waste of time? They can be crying. So instead, they just tend to ignore it. He's never going to talk about his feelings unless he had a good enough reason to do so. Unless he feel comfortable with you also. It all depends on your relationship dynamic with this person, with this male. Just think about it. Why would they go against everything that they've been taught and believe based on their roles within society? Most men don't understand just how critical it is for their health to have their relationship to be able to express their feelings. Like previously, people were taught that the mind and the body was separate, but now we know that they're both intertwined. So that level of stress, that level of amount of intense being on alert and on high alert definitely contributes to the number one killer among men now, which is heart disease. So the mind and the body is connected. So fellas, please open up, express those feelings. Don't let that stress or the depression, add up and just continue to manifest itself within you. So the 4th one from the survey that I conducted, a lot of people feel that society has conditioned them to do so, to not express their emotions. Women are the only ones who are urged to behave in a certain way due to their gender. Men are often conditioned to believe that they're supposed to behave a certain way, based on the media, based on their friends, based on their family. All of these things play in the factors of why men don't express themselves. They believe they aren't supposed to show feelings, and if they do so, they're considered weak or soft or, not as macho as the next guy. So they grow up being aligned themselves with those norms in order to fit in with society, whether it's on a basketball team or any other sports team or in the workplace. You got to have a certain level of achievement. You got to have a certain level of manliness, a macho about you. If not, you get that perception. So they tend to grow that fear of showing vulnerability or a softer side just to overshadow their masculine traits. They don't want that to happen. They don't want to appear a certain way based on the norms of society. So, that's what it was. So number 4 was definitely society conditioned them to. If we had to move forward to number 3, based on that survey, they don't know how. So a lot of people take credit for the good things that people do, but not so much the limitations that we set on people. So a lot of people don't know how, especially men, don't know how to express themselves or display certain feelings. Think about it. Men are conditioned to express those feelings, so they might not know how. It depends on how you was raised, who your models are now, who you surround yourself with, who allow you to open up and be vulnerable without casting judgment. It's hard for somebody to blurt out their inner thoughts when they feel that they got to keep it a secret. Like, it's hard for them to express themselves if they know it's going to be backlash and they're going to be cast out as, this weaker person. It's hard for them to change who they are, so they tend not to, since they don't know how. They don't seek out the information either, because based on the media, based on society, that's also part of it. And when they continue to refuse that emotion, it starts that emotional maturity. So a lot of people don't understand that. Fellas, express yourself, man. You don't want to be stuck in this position of limited emotional security for your relationship with your partner or your children. You want to break those cycles. You want to learn how to foster healthy emotions within your relationship. So number 2, they don't want to be judged. Just think about how many people are judged now for, how many men are judged now for probably wearing pink or, having nails or not wanting to play a physical sport but do something like gardening and stuff like that, or yoga. There's a lot of people that judge men for doing yoga because the poses are considered feminine by society, not knowing that your ability to stretch will enhance your ability to perform better in that physical sport. So, but that's the ignorance of society. So number 2, they don't want to be judged. Just think about it. In the movies, if your boyfriend admits that he's jealous, he's jealous over your friendship with another man, you might assume he's weak or insecure. Like, that's what the movies, that's what Hollywood has tend to display to us. Like, oh man, like, you based on that, Hollywood tends to paint this perfect picture of men that show emotions is the weaker side, and people have adapted to believe in those things. So now that those things are the last thing he wants is to be perceived as an insecure, jealous man based on that example I just gave. He would rather much highly pretend that he doesn't feel those feelings or doesn't have any hurt surrounding that situation. So hiding the inner thoughts may be a defense mechanism, and it may be easier or even just an unconscious reaction as they avoid confrontation within the person that they're in a relationship with. So a lot of people just rather suck it up and drive on, opposed to expressing how they feel in fear of being labeled or cast as a certain thing. So from that survey of, that 1,800 plus people that replied, number 1 was they release pain in other ways. They release or express themselves in other ways and not necessarily in healthy ways. So men don't talk about their emotions and cry to feel better. They rather much, display their frustration by going to the gym or avoiding it or any other reckless behavior. Men have this, some men, not all men. I don't speak for all men, but I definitely can speak for the 18 plus that replied to this, and the ones who, of course, I see within practice or in the community, and just my time doing different case studies and stuff like that. They release their emotions physically and not so much verbally. They don't know how to articulate how they feel or why they feel based on the previous answers that we just gathered. But it manifests itself, of course, in anger, aggression, reckless behavior, being promiscuous. So those are some of the things, man, why you see people and men typically go from relationship to relationship with those same characteristics and those same traits, because they didn't learn to foster that emotional growth. So that's typically what happened. And again, for my bonus one, they were raised not to, and just realistically, this might sound harsh, this might sound mean, but not all parents deserve to be parents. You know, to be honest with you, some of them will yell at their child for voicing their opinion, whether they're male or female. This just happened. If your boyfriend grew up in a household like that, then there's no way he's able to express how he feels if he was a 10-year-old saying, hey, I don't want to play with this truck. I'd much rather have an easy bake oven or whatever the case is. And he was shunned by his uncle or his dad for not, you know, being as macho or playing with a boy toy, pretty much. So if it was more gender neutral and opening and accepting within the household to talk when you feel something, then of course that's how he would grow up. He will grow up expressing himself. But instead, you know, they're taught to keep their mouth shut. They're taught not to cry if you fall or if you hurt yourself. Like, just think about that. Years and years of denying your true feelings and years of becoming numb in actuality. You know, so we have to set those tones now and break those stigmas and pretty much foster a nurturing environment for our young men, for our daughters. Pretty much we have to be better parents than the generations before us. You know, all information is not good information, and the information that we were given as how we were raised weren't necessarily the best. You know, so now definitely, you know, break those cycles of years of denial and years of being numb. When people continue to deny the part of who they are, it can lead to depression, anger, resentment, you know, and more destructive behavior depending on your relationship dynamic within your situation with this male. So definitely foster a nurturing, accepting situation so this male can come to you, open up and stuff like that. Just think about it right now. A truck or easy bake oven. If your 8-year-old son said, mommy or daddy, I don't want to play with the truck, or I don't want to ride the bike, I want an easy bake oven, and you tell him no at 8 years old, you know, you tell him no again at 10 years old, whatever, he gets 25 and he's in his own relationship, and this young lady says, hey, how come you don't cook for me? I don't want to cook. You know, it was fostered. He grew up with that. He grew up with that mentality that I can't cook. I can't do this because that's a woman role. That's a female role. In some cases, not all cases, but, you know, those things go inside with it. So definitely foster that nurturing relationship. Help that male in your life to be better able to express himself. So hit me up, man, if you guys got any questions, www.men2heal.com. Thanks for checking out the YouTube. Again, why men don't open up. If you got something you want to add, definitely add it. Send me a message or post it on here. We definitely can review it. Also, send me your future questions if it's a topic that you want me to discuss. I'll be happy to do so. Again, appreciate you guys for checking out. Make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe button. More content coming, a lot more stuff coming. I'm definitely going to dive into the book as well to be able to help men in a better position. But it also starts with support. So if you are in a relationship with this man, allow him to open up. Allow him to be vulnerable without being chastised or cast out based on that. And don't bring it back up later to throw it in his face. Accept it. Like, listen to him. Let him feel free. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Check me out later.